Weather is a mix of events happening in the atmosphere every single day. Even though there's only one atmosphere on Earth, the weather isn't the same around the world. Weather refers to the short-term changes in the atmosphere, while climate describes what the weather is like for a long period of time in a specific area. And because of this, the climate is not the same around the world. When scientists talk about climate, they often look at the averages of precipitation, temperature, humidity, solar intensity, and other weather parameters that happen within a long period of time in a given area. And because of this, different parts of the world can have different climate. But Sri Lanka has age-old practices of predicting weather. Farmers used to foretell the future by looking at things like behavior of animals, sounds of animals, the heat and the cold, and also fruiting and flowering patterns of plants. And this knowledge was passed down from generation to generation for people to use. In the past, people documented their predictions in folklore, poetry, art, and palm leaf manuscripts or Puskola pot. Considering the climate in Sri Lanka, there were two seasons that brought rain to the island. The southwest monsoon or the Yalakanna, which brought about rain during the months of May till September, was used to grow long-term crops. On the other hand, the northeast monsoon or the Mahakanna was a short period between December till February, which was used to grow short-term crops. May and June were the months used to select the land for cultivation, while July and August were the months used to prepare the land. September was the month used to erect fences and supporting rods, while October was mentioned as the month of harvest. We also discovered that people from the northwestern and southern provinces used to predict weather by looking at different bird species. According to the prophecy of the Baya weaver or the Vadukurulla, if the bird's nest was found on tops of trees, it means heavy rain. But if the nests were found in lower parts of trees, it means it will not rain that heavily. Also, the belt hanging the nest onto the tree, if it is tied tightly, it means the rain will come with heavy winds. Professor Gamini Ranasinghe from the Department of History and Archaeology at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura stated that birds have a great skill in predicting weather. Accordingly, the weaver bird has a great understanding of the weather conditions by looking at the material used to make their nests, like muddy soil, palm leaves and stuffing. You can say that this bird has used its weather predictions to create this nest. Also, if the red wattle lapwing or the Kirala lays eggs close to the Madakaluwa, which is the area closer to the lake where the water sits, it means less rainfall. But if the Kirala lays eggs away from the water, it means there's going to be heavy rainfall in the future. There is also a saying, if the Ceylon swallow or the Vahilihinia flies parallel to the ground, it is about to rain. This is because this bird comes down to catch the insects that come out of their burrows. Similarly, the Brahmini kite or the Bamunupiakusa also flies in the lower skies to catch different lizards and smaller animals that come out of their burrows. When considering mammal behavior, the giant squirrel or the Dandulena builds its nest at the edge of branches if it's going to rain less, and it will build its nest in the middle of branches if it's going to rain heavily with heavy winds. Weather can also be predicted by looking at trees. The abundance of fruits, flowers, and leaves in the wood apple tree or the dewel tree tells us a lot about the rainfall. If the wood apple tree has sufficient and healthy fruits, it means there will be sufficient rain in the future. However, if there is more fruits and the fruits are smaller in size, that predicts less rainfall in the future. And also, if there is extreme abundance of wood apples on the tree, it is a prediction of drought. Betel nut or puak is very sensitive to nature. It grows well near water bodies. If you see new roots on this tree, it means it's about to rain. And if you look at the direction of these roots, you can tell from which direction the rainfall is going to come from. The weather predictions of the Vedda community in Sri Lanka is slightly different. They predict rain by looking at the position of the moon. 5 days before the August full moon, these Veddas set fire to the forest. But this fire is automatically controlled by the rains that follow. They do this to plant seeds in a soil that is more fertile than it used to be. Do Sri Lankan farmers still use traditional knowledge to predict weather? Based on a survey conducted by the Institute for Policy Studies in Sri Lanka, it was found that 57% of the farmers still use traditional knowledge in predicting weather when it comes to their cultivations. 43% of the farmers said that they do not use traditional knowledge and stick to formal weather forecasts. And 60% of the farmers stated that their predictions are moderately consistent with the predictions that were given by formal weather forecasts. So accordingly, it is clear that considering traditional knowledge is important in combating climate change and also making decisions in the country.